Welcome back to the channel. This is Steve, Tyranny Explorer here, coming at you with Canary Islands interview part 3. I did it with my friend Aran. This is a 3-part series, so if you haven't watched the first 2, I'll leave a link in the description. Watch those before you get to this part. But before I shoot you to the interview, I want to do my weekly comment. This one comes from Karen Contestabill with an E, 6064 from Rochester. Your channel came through my feeds yesterday. Great boots on the ground. You would enjoy the Immortality channels. Deborah, the red brick chick, is from Australia. She's good. Thanks, Karen. You've commented on over a dozen of my videos. Appreciate the support. So, just a quick housekeeping update. I want to post every Friday. I'm working on 2 videos. One, the mystery of King Tut's tomb, which I think you'll find interesting. And then Lost New York, going over the amazing buildings and structures that have been lost in New York, mostly New York City. And then I'll be in this beautiful place here, Bolt Castle, at the end of July. Stay tuned for some boots on the ground footage there. So July is going to be a good month for some content. Stay tuned. And without further ado, let's get to the interview. As kids.
That's very interesting. That's a very interesting perspective.
Bring us out of the moment, bring us out of the play, and then bring us to the dinner table. More and more, maybe. And maybe I dare to say that it's pretty much confirmed now that the amount of food we eat now is much larger, and we eat more times a day. And this has become increasingly, like, subtly sneaking in our consciousness of eating more and more, consuming more. And like now it's acceptable to eat snacks all day long. And like most people say, oh, I need to eat blood sugar. I got to eat every 2 hours or whatever the doctor said. And then that creates, not only does it feed consumerism, but it also feeds, aging and death.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's quite potent. And I'm going to have to sit with that idea more and think about that and like work back in my own memory and try to see how like my childhood was influenced by food.
Definitely something to consider. I don't want to.
Yeah. No, it's good. I mean, these are things that most people haven't thought about, and there's whether or not somebody has a positive or negative reaction to the initial presentation of this idea. It's important to be able to have these discussions, particularly in spiritual communities where folks are acting like they're moving forward. If you're serious about moving forward, you got to consider every possibility.
Yeah, I've been wanting to talk about this stuff so much, and I'm so glad you're interviewing me because
my pleasure.
I want to be able to just have a community of people that I would like to see a world where we don't have where hunger is not a thing, where hunger doesn't exist, and despite whether you believe it exists now, I think it can be eradicated. So
it sounds like you're already part of something like this and looking to grow your own community and expand this. But maybe you can tell me a little bit about the fasting group you're in right now.
So it's a great group. It's on Telegram. I got introduced from. So I have a Tartarian channel on Instagram, and I had messaged the owner of the group. His name is Chris Manley. And I was like, I want to be part of this group. Because he was like, join this group and we'll have more in-depth conversations. And this is a good group to be in if you're interested in leveling up yourself. And I was curious. So I said, I'd like to join. You do have to pay for it. So I did. I had to message him. And he pretty much, when he saw Tartaria, he was like, you're in, man. I want to have you in this group. And he normally has to like talk to you, have a whole interview process, but he's like, dude, your vibe, you're into Tartaria, like, you're in, man. Like, I was just like, cool. And so I joined, and I'm I love it, and I feel like I the more I'm in there, the more I'm speaking on their little chat. I'm sending voice messages. It's only as potent as I give it energy to. It's like the more you actually engage with it, the more you get back. So it's like I would encourage anyone to join a support group for whatever they want to do, like support group for musicians or artists or whatever you want to do. You know, if you want to do something, get in a group of all people who are also doing that same thing, and it just gives you that loop feedback where it's like people can support you in that certain aspect, you know. So I'm so glad I joined, and I'm getting a lot out of it. And if you're joining a group, I suggest you just continually to participate. It's all about participation, you know. And he does little like polls in there, and like, have you eaten today and stuff like that. And like, I'm not going to eat today because I'm going to feed my spirit instead of feed your flesh, you know. And it's like, what's the value of food, you know. It continually motivates us, and we all motivate each other, and we talk about our experiences. And one thing we don't want to do in that group is talk about what someone else has done. You talk about what you did.
And that's what important.
People get called out if you start talking about too much about, and rightfully so. You start talking about, oh, well, this person did that, and this person did that, and then, but what did you do? I want to hear what you did. Like, instead of like what's possible until you reach that certain level, and you're basically the one who is at the boundary of possibility, and you get past it, and you can share, oh my gosh, I did this, and it's so amazing, you know. And then people will be motivated because, wow, that person actually. So you speak for your own confidence and own level of up-leveling.
Wow. Well, it sounds amazing, and I think that a very important point to this this description you just gave us is that it is a very positive focus group, and this is where most people are looking to move into in their spirituality and consciousness, is this idea of what have I done rather than what have they done. This is what is spoken about so much, and it really sounds like you are actually part of a group, and you yourself are pioneering this emanation of consciousness, like this level of consciousness that is so highly sought after, and it's through the mechanism of challenging the self to break past boundaries that have been placed on you by others. That's just so amazing.
Yeah. So when I was a kid, I experienced a lot of just hardships when I was a kid, and I always, because of those hardships, I feel like I have an intense passion or desire to change the world because of what I personally went through. The more it's very personal to me, like, you know, and also other people too. When I see suffering in other people or hardships and difficulties, and see medical bills and stuff, like unnecessary chemotherapies and radiation therapies and just stuff that's just atrocious to humankind, I feel so deeply. I feel like I want to make a difference, and the only way I can make a difference is actually show people an alternative way.
Wow.
So
lead by example.
Exactly.
I mean, that is the characteristic of leadership. And yes, but thank you, Steve. That's really cool, man. That's a great motivation to have. So you said about the medical tyranny, right? Like the things that are done against humanity.
Yeah.
It almost seems like we live in some kind of Western society version of a death cult. Could you go into that a little bit? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Okay, so I'm glad you asked. So the death cult is like, okay, this concept that many people buy into, they accept. So when you start accepting the aging process, you inevitably accept your own death. And you actually, what's really funny is we were on the Canary Islands, and we were actually chatting about this on the group. We had seen this sign for like this whole class on like going to a class and learning how to age gracefully, and learning how to like fall over and be like somehow like just learning how to like things that older people normalize. It's basically like anyway, it was a class on aging and how to die, basically, or something, like how to
what?
Yeah, it was like how can you like go peacefully, you know, how can you live the rest of your life in a peaceful way, but also accepting your own death in a sense. It's like, but anyway, unbeknownst to people, whether they know it or not, the majority of people, I believe, are accepting death, mostly by their food choices. I would say that's one of the biggest thing. There are other choices too, but they're allowing themselves to unnecessarily die at when they find out you have a choice and they say they want to live, but do they really want to live? I mean, it's a question you have to ask your soul. Do you want to live, or when do you want to die? And I think there's no preset determination, I believe, about when you're going to die. I think you're actually the director of it. So if you can be immortal, let's do that. If we can take this, if this body can just be preserved, and I know that's a lot of red flags for most people, but not preserved necessarily. If the body, I think the cells are immortal at this point. It's been done in test tubes. There's some studies on that. I can put some links and stuff like that to that information, but the cells actually don't die. We're the ones who we control that. We add death into ourselves, by our choices, and then the cells themselves are essentially like from God programmed to be immortal, essentially, and we've by man's sin against ourselves and yeah. So anyway, it gets pretty deep. But
that gets very deep. I mean, that's amazing, and like we're really going now into the crux of like this question that, I would say, for as long as death has been present in this realm, that man also has wrestled with this. And if you look into the tales of old alchemists and things, the search for the philosopher's stone, this never-ending quest for immortality. Now with the modern version, we have the idea of placing the consciousness into a machine so that one can live on forever. Or another a thing that's really become popular in our modern world is the idea of biohacking, using peptides, eating certain types of food, doing particular activities in order to increase one's lifespan. And of course, this is a question that we all must face in our modern world. What is death? Because it's so in our face. And I like the approach you're bringing here, that it actually doesn't require anything outside of us to reach immortality. And by seeking outside for immortality is what would doom one to a life of mortality.
Yes, I'm glad you said that. Yeah, a big theme of my life and this whole work I'm doing and what I want to share in this interview is that we have everything we need. We don't need to read any books, or we don't need anything specific. I mean, like, life provides us with everything we need. Like our bodies are like the trust in your body. Like, God darn, trust in your body, trust yourself, trust that it knows everything. It can do anything, repair anything. Like, I believe you can regrow anything you want. Like, your body is so intelligent, and like we're taught that it's not, that's just a fairy tale or that's illusion or something, but it really is. And just experiment with yourself. Get cut, see what happens when it heals up. See how, maybe fast for 7 days, see how much quicker you heal when you're fasted state compared to when you're eating.
Well, maybe people can start with like 2 days.
Yeah, or 1 day. One day is a big accomplishment for most people. Yeah, a huge accomplishment, and celebrate it too. So yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like, say you went a 7-day fast when you're injured, I guarantee you would heal much faster. So.
And how does that relate into like the difference between the spirit and the flesh? Is there a difference, or is the spirit something in the flesh, or is the flesh being sustained by the spirit?
So, okay, our body is, we are spirit. Spirit is one's everything. That's what animates us. And when we feed the spirit, we grow spiritually. That's very simple. We grow when we do things that feed the spirit. We take care of ourselves. We love others. We love ourselves. We do our best. We have positive thoughts. We encourage the world, others around us. We work hard. We say what we keep to our agreements, our verbal agreements. We don't steal. We don't kill people. These things, whatever it is, these things, that our behavior in a positive way affects, grows our spirit. Now, our flesh wants to be sustained to be constantly nourished by food, to have lots of sex, and that kind of stuff. That's the lower energies. If we just want to be carnal, and we think that that's all there is. So we get stuck in that. It's not bad. You can choose to do those things, but they don't feed your spirit. They just feed the lower nature. So it's like, what are we feeding? Remember, just when you make a choice, what are we feeding, the spirit or the flesh? Just think about it, because the body would want us to eat food all the time and be lazy. And then even our media and social media and mainstream news would want us to do that too. And they trick us into thinking that's a beautiful thing when that actually is like really sad and kills us, So, yeah, just think about, be mindful about, that's what I want to say about that.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's good. Thank you. So with all this being said, and, your description of your adventures and then also from what you've heard and seen, how powerful are we really?
Wow, that's a great question. Wow. We are like so incredibly powerful. There's no words to describe how powerful we are. I mean, essentially, we are God, the creator. We are one with the creator. So we are part of God. I mean, like, not just a part, we are made of God. Like, what I mean? We are the creator. So it's like, our power is unlimited. There's no limit to our power. And it's just that, most people, I even me right now, we use we're growing in our power. We are limited, but we're still in this whole experience. We're realizing it. We're not there yet. Most people aren't, and they take many lifetimes. I'd like to achieve 100% power in this lifetime, but like we're you know what I mean? That's how I see it. I see we have, like, anything that happens to us is a reflection of our consciousness. So we actually draw to us the experiences that happen. And then, so we have the power to change the world on what we agree to, on our consent to. So we're unlimited. Like,
unlimited power.
Yeah.
But it seems like what you're getting at here in the things you've been describing is that this power,
it doesn't manipulate others. It doesn't
manipulate others. This is a power that comes from pure living, purification of the body, of the mind, and of the spirit, and action in a righteous manner. It seems like in order to truly tap into this ability that is innate within us from the creation, the essence of creation that we are, that one must go through challenges that are applied to the self, challenging this realm, challenging the perceptions that have been driven into us, challenging the programs that have been laid upon us, breaking free from those in a way that is meant for the betterment of oneself and to lead others to enlightenment. It seems like that is what you're saying truly brings the power. Yeah, it's to love yourself and the world so much that you bring about, that you reflect at ultimately total love and total harmony, and you reflect total freedom, and you reflect total allowance of, and you actually look upon the world as grievances and you accept them. There's a certain level of accepting the suffering. There's a certain level of, there's purging, there's a crying, there's emotional release, there's these traumas that we have from various things get released because we, through like not easy work, I'm telling you that, to release traumas and stuff like that. And that's what, anyway, that's a whole nother subject matter, but kind of has to do with it. So so we actually I would say Jesus was an example. He's just one master, but there's many masters who have shown us the way. And you don't look up to one particular thing and deify it, but like, you just, you take all the examples and all the different things you see, and you we can be perfect. And there's this always saying, oh, you can't be perfect. Well, you can. And I strive for that. And you should not say, I'm not going to be perfect, because you're lowering yourself in that point. Wow.
Yeah. So.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Steve, for sharing these thoughts and sharing with us your experiences and these images, these beautiful images of your adventure. It's been amazing hearing about what fasting means to you and how it goes beyond just fasting from food and water and into much more of a fasting of all things that are impure.
Yes. Yeah. Good point on that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So thank you so much again, Steve. And is there anything else that you want to say as we kind of wrap this up here?
No, I would just say stay true to who you are, wherever you are. Thanks for listening. And just be grateful too. Be grateful for your friends, your family, and stay in unity. See, you're being like your ancestors are watching you. Your parent, the people who died, are watching you, and there's a lot of I don't want to say pressure, but there's a lot of like it's important that you do what's your mission. It's important you find your mission and accomplish it because no one else is going to do it for you. So.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well said. Well, thanks again, Steve. It's been such a pleasure, and man, I'm gonna miss you, bro.
All right. Thanks, Aran. Yeah, we'll stay in touch and appreciate you a lot.
No, appreciate you too, brother. All right. Much love. Peace.
Bye.